So this past week has been full of awakening after awakening after awakening. And I feel like I just wanted to come on here, do this really impromptu video and share with you guys all of the things that I've learned from actually being with myself, feeling my feelings, and doing the inner work for that. So, if you are new here, welcome or welcome back to my channel if you're not. My name is Julia. Make sure you subscribe if you want to see more of my videos I post every week. So let me rewind back to the very beginning of, this was probably Wednesday of last week. What are we? What is today? Today is a Friday. By the time you see this, it'll probably be like 2 weeks later. So basically what happened, there was a prompting event, right? Where I ran into somebody who I still like felt a connection with from my past. Basically, we decided to get together and have a conversation and sort of bring clarity and light to a situation that was left open-ended. It ended, but it was left open-ended, if that makes sense. So basically I went and saw this person and we had a really good conversation, and we both still had this attraction towards each other. And by attraction, I don't mean like just a physical attraction, I mean more of like an energetic attraction. So it wasn't just like, oh, you're cute, I'm cute. It was like, oh, there's something pulling me towards you. There's something pulling me towards you. So that was the main prompting event, right? And then after that, I felt really deeply triggered. I was like so emotionally dysregulated, but nothing actually traumatizing had happened to me, right? I literally met this person. I was like, logically, I feel like the conversation we had was so validating, so clarifying. I felt really good about it on a logical level. But internally, I was like, oh my God, I feel like something really bad happened to me. And the energy versus the facts just didn't match up. And I was like, why am I I felt dysregulated, I felt anxious, I felt like there was a split in my body of, on one hand, well, we'll get into that because that plays into the healing modality I used to kind of figure out what was going on within me, because I was so confused. So I'm like, on one hand, I had a really good conversation with this person, whether we decide to continue talking or not. I feel like it was a full circle moment of clarity. Apologies were said, past things were validated, you know, whatever, all that. So I was just really confused as to why I was so deeply triggered. And when I felt this feeling in the past, it usually would lead me to do some type of coping mechanism or coping strategy to distract myself, but I didn't want to this time. I was like, no, I need to like actually get to the bottom of this. I need to feel my feelings to heal what is going on, because whatever you choose to resist persists. So if I don't face whatever is going on internally with me, it's just going to continue or come up at another point in time if I don't face it now. So at first I was like, okay, like let me try going for a walk, see if that, like, you know, just moving my body, I'll get it out of me. I was trying different DBT skills to self-soothe, and none of them were really working to get to the root of the problem, but they did work to calm myself down and get me into a more like stable state to continue doing what I normally do, continue on my goals, continue my work, and not be like in my head. So I was like, okay, cool, like I'm functioning. Because not only was I feeling dysregulated in my body with like the overwhelming chest feeling, I also received a flood of thoughts that didn't make sense because all these thoughts didn't fit the prompting event. Like it was just, okay, this is excessive. Like there's something else going on inside of me, and it really doesn't have anything to do with this other person who I just had a good conversation with. So when I was able to check in and realize that, I was like, okay, this is all within me, so I gotta do what I need to do to heal whatever's going on within me, regardless of that other person and, you know, whatever, because this is my stuff. This is Julia's stuff coming up. So I think a day later, he had texted me to get dinner and see each other again. And that's when everything kind of hit the fan for me, because I wasn't sure if this was going to continue, if that was just like, okay, like a one-time thing of we talked, things are good. I mean, I still feel my feelings, you still feel your feelings, but like neither of us are gonna, you know. But then when he had reached out to make another plan, I was like, okay, there is more momentum here. That really triggering feeling came back times 10. So I was like, I have a choice point to make. I could, one, cope the way I used to cope in the past, which I did not want to do. I could, two, shut the whole thing down and not deal with it completely. Or three, I could do the inner work to figure out what is going on inside of me that I feel this dysregulated by just simply getting dinner with a guy I feel very energetically attracted to. So I decided I'm gonna do a few things. I'm gonna do a little external research, figure out what type of healing modality I want to try to use to get to the root of this. I could use a DBT skill, which when I think back on it, I did use a lot of my DBT skills subconsciously, but the main skill that I used was parts work. So first, what I did was figure out, what does it mean when you feel so drawn to someone, so attracted to them? Like, why? Like, what is the kind of science behind being so deeply attracted to somebody? And what I figured out was, it's either because you want to be like them, you want something from them, or they have the capability to trigger your deepest wounds to heal them. And it could be like a mixture of these, but it's usually something in that category. So obviously I knew it definitely had to be the third one. He has the capability to trigger my deepest wounds, because I'm feeling so much trauma coming up right now from past relationships, past situations, whatever. I felt all this fear. I was like, oh my god, if I continue to talk to him, all the bad things from the past are going to happen to me. But there was still a part of me that was like, but I don't want to not talk to him, because what if that doesn't happen? What if this could be really good? Or what if I can heal my stuff? But I wasn't thinking this logically until I decided to do parts work. And parts work is basically where you go into the parts of you that are having a conflict, because when you're feeling this overwhelming anxiety inside of you, it's because two parts or more within you are not in agreement, and they're not seeing eye to eye, and they're on opposite ends of the spectrum. So for myself, I had a part of me, it was my protector part, that was like, Julia, what happened last time you were attracted to somebody? What happened last time when you liked somebody and you had a connection? You got really hurt. You threw out all of your boundaries, you threw out all of your standards, and you just gave yourself to that. So my protector part was like, danger, danger, no, shut this down. We're not gonna go talk to this guy because he's gonna hurt you, because you don't know what you're doing. And then there was a part of me that I kind of considered was like the hopeful part. Maybe it was my inner child, maybe it was, I don't know, but I called it hope. Protector and hope. Hope was like, oh no, but like, what if like you guys get along? What if you guys are very compatible in a romantic way? Or what if you guys can actually just get along as friends? Who knows what could happen? Don't give up on this. Hope. That's what hope was saying. So when I went into it, my protector and my hope were not seeing each other eye to eye. They didn't realize the other was there. So this one was trying to help me. This one was also trying to help me. But because they didn't have the awareness of each other within me, it was causing me anxiety, because I was like, I don't want to let either of them down. What do I do? So I had to become aware of both of them to find a happy medium for both of them, where my protector felt completely validated, like all of her concerns were being considered, and I had to talk to my hope and listen to what my hope had to say and make sure that all of her wants and needs and desires were being considered. So I went back and forth. I listened to my protector and I listened to my hope, and I was like, guys, I've learned a lot since the past. Okay, what are my values now? Do I trust myself to enforce these values? Have I gotten clear about my values? The answer was yes. So protector was like, okay, yeah, we know you have clarified your standards, your boundaries, your non-negotiables. So we trust you to uphold those, and you've shown us in the more recent past that you can no matter what. My protector felt validated. Then I went to my hope and I was like, okay, well, I still want to honor what you desire, because what you want, I want. So we are going to move forward in this situation with our boundaries, our standards, and our non-negotiables. So if at any time those feel crossed, we will go and listen to protector and honor what they want. But if they are honored, then hope, you're gonna get what you desire. And if they're not honored, you'll still get what you desire later, hope, but in a different situation. I didn't fully get to that conclusion until the next day when I took a shower, but I got to a very calm place that night after talking to them. I heard both their sides. I didn't fully process everything through, but I knew that the answer was going to come to me. So after that happened, I felt this like weird calm in my body. It almost felt like a medicinal, but I was still conscious and totally sober because I hadn't taken anything. But my senses, after doing that parts work, my senses felt super heightened. It felt like I just took a step up the emotional frequency ladder. Like, I literally remember that night I was just petting my cat Dexter, and I could always hear him breathing a little bit, but it was like so visceral. Everything, like even when I played music, I was like, wait, is my volume turned all the way up? And then I looked at my phone and it was like this much volume, and I was like, okay, that sounds really loud. So all of my senses got heightened after I clarified that within me. And then the next day when I took a shower, which this has been a theme for me, anytime I've been taking showers recently, and I feel like this has always been this way, but like even more so, I get so clear on things, like decisions become like, oh, I know exactly what I need to do. I received downloads from the universe. It's crazy. So when I got into the shower, the middle ground that I just talked about hit me so clearly, and I was like, okay, it's fine. Like, I'm still gonna feel a little scared because this is new territory for me since I've been taking a full dating break for the past few months. This is new territory for me to like actually start considering another person again. So of course I'm gonna be scared, but I felt reassured and validated to myself, by myself, from myself, because I considered all the parts of me and I came to a conclusion that felt right within. And I have been doing that work on a light scale for the past few months. It kind of felt like this was a test of, are you really going to act from a place of loving yourself when interacting with others in what felt like a high-risk situation? It's obviously not a high-risk situation, but after going through what I went through in my past, dating in general feels like a very risky situation for me on an emotional level. So I felt like I passed the test. I felt this deep inner confidence in myself for being able to emotionally regulate on my own and being able to validate myself. Like, I didn't need external validation. I didn't need somebody telling me what to do, what is best for me, because I knew what is best for me. And that's probably one of the best feelings you can feel. It's like one of the biggest acts of self-love, I say, is self-discipline, and that is for sure a huge act. But being able to validate yourself, make decisions for yourself that best serve you and all parts of you is one of the greatest acts of self-love you can do for yourself. So I say all this to say that it didn't stop there. So I ended up going and seeing that person, and I feel like I ended up having one of the best dates of my life. And it's not because of the surroundings or anything he really did. It was because I felt so sure of myself. Like, I felt like I was being so true to myself, so authentic to myself, and I felt like we were able to connect on such a deeper level and more real level than I've ever felt like I've been able to connect with somebody before. And I know the only reason that was able to happen was because I did the inner work within me. You can only go as deep with somebody else as you can go within yourself. And going that deeply within myself and then sharing that and expressing it to him, I told him exactly what I just told you about what was going on within me and how I fixed it, and he was so receptive to that. We also talked about other things that we aligned with, and that felt good as well, but nothing felt as good as being able to share this with him, because I knew that if he did receive this well, me sharing a more vulnerable thing, that would connect us on a deeper level. So regardless of if me and him continue to see each other or not, I feel like I could do this with myself with almost anything. I can do this with other people, I can do this with friends, I can do this with family. I just felt like, oh, I got myself and I can do this. So regardless if it works out with him or not, I'll do this with a future person. And it gave me such a confidence boost within myself that I could handle anything. Like, whatever feelings come up, I can deal with it. And I never felt like that before. I felt like I reached a new level of emotional maturity. I reached a new level of awakening. I reached a new level of Julia. It felt really great. And there's one last part to this that I want to share. I'm sure more things will unveil themselves, but that night that we had gone to get dinner was the night of the new moon. And this new moon was regarding, oh my god, wait, I want to look exactly what it was regarding. Hold on. It's saying here about the Libra full moon, a new love may unexpectedly enter your life, or old lovers may cross your path again. It was saying that this is a good time to really reflect on your relationships and see what's going on with them, and to open up your heart. So I feel like the thing that stood out to me was the opening up your heart part, because I feel like after all the things I went through in my past, all the traumas and whatever, I really shut my heart down and was like, no, I want to protect it. And that's where my protector part was like, and hope was like my heart, you know, just wanted to like love everybody, love everything. And that's just how I want to be. But after being hurt so many times, you don't just want to like love freely anymore because you're afraid of getting hurt. So I could feel myself really wanting to like open up and be loving towards this person, but I felt this resistance of no, like I will get hurt. This is no. But after self-reflecting, I realized the main reason why me and this person couldn't continue in the past was because I couldn't open up my heart to him, because I was too too in protector mode. And at the same time, he wasn't making me feel safe enough to do that anyway, so it wasn't going to work out on both ends in the past. But now I feel like I have that awareness, and now after all of the inner work that I've done, I'm getting to a place where I feel like I can open up my heart and still protect myself with boundaries and keeping my standards and non-negotiables. And if I continue to do this with him or with somebody else, as long as they're creating the safe container for that, I can continue to open up my heart to them and let them in. But it took me all this inner work to get to that place. And then last night, this is the final part for me of the heart opening process. I decided, you know what, I'm going to bring myself from my head, because I usually live in my head, and something I really wanted to practice was living more from my body. And actually this sort of goes back to a key point in my first interaction with him since reconnecting, was when I was with him and we had our little DMC, deep meaningful combo. He noticed every time I switched from being in my body to being in my head, and he called me out on it every time. And I know that sounds like a very small thing, but it created a sense of trust between me and him, where it was like, oh, he sees me. He sees when I'm switching. Most people don't see that in me. Like, most people have a really hard time reading me or knowing when that's going on. So him doing that was actually the main reason why I decided to see him again and take him up on his offer. But anyway, I digress. Back to the point. Because of him mirroring that back to me and showing me, like, Julia, you're switching from body to head, it made me want to work on being in my body more. So last night I was like, hey, like, yes, let me work on being in my body, but where should I be in my body? And then I was like, oh, I should be in my heart. So I put on a YouTube video about the heart chakra, and I was just listening to it and sort of meditating on it and trying to follow what the video was saying. And literally spontaneously out of nowhere, my heart just like opened up, and I was like, oh, that's what that is. I didn't realize that you could really feel your heart like energetically do something. It wasn't like my heart as in my like beating heart. It was like the center point in my chest, the heart chakra, that just like opened. And I was like, mic drop. Like, what was that? And it was really crazy. So all of this now is just making me really want to continue to really progress and focus on doing this inner work and growing emotionally and physically and spiritually and just becoming my best version. And I feel like I wouldn't have gotten to this point if I wasn't triggered. So I really truly feel like our triggers can be our biggest healers. And it's crazy to say this because I feel like we're always so afraid of being triggered, but if we actually lean into the things that are triggering us and don't cope and block ourselves from feeling everything that comes up from it, we can actually dissolve it and transmute it and alchemize it and grow from it and be better for it. So I'm going to end this there, but I love you guys so much, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!